For those of us paying attention, are we embarrassed enough yet? You know about Donald's affinity for kings and dictators that has been it's been over the course of decades. He's always fancies himself one. It's never been subtle. Take a look at this clip.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, no, no, other than day one. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator." You know, I was very honored as a man. Viktor Orban. Did anyone ever hear of him? He's probably like one of the strongest leaders anywhere in the world. And he's the leader of, right? He's the leader of Turkey. President Xi's like central casting. There's nobody in Hollywood that can play the role of President Xi. The look, the strength, the voice. It's good to have a good relationship with Putin and Xi and all these people that have lots of nuclear weapons. And Kim Jong-un I had a good relationship with. He's a tough, smart guy. And then we fell in love. Okay? No, really. He wrote me beautiful letters. And they're great letters. We fell in love. Vladimir Putin. Has anybody ever heard of Vladimir Putin?
Yeah, well, that's where we are. Also, Donald, you look really old. That's all right. It's natural. Okay. This, again, long-standing obsession with the dictator. His father was a sociopath and an authoritarian patriarch. So, okay, I get it. It runs in the family, I suppose. Luckily, it skips some of us. But it's alarming to hear a democratically elected asshole be so enamored of people we really should hate. So here he is, finally saying the quiet part out loud. And you know he's wanted to for a very long time. He doesn't just want power, he wants a crown. Wouldn't that be cute? And of course, his minions just handed him one, get ready to be mortified. On February 19th, 2025, the White House's official Twitter account posted an AI-generated image of Donald in a crown on a fake copy of Time magazine with the caption, quote, "Congestion pricing is dead. Manhattan and all of New York is saved. Long live the king," unquote. He's not even pretending anymore. But why should he? Is anybody standing in his way? No. In fact, they're making the way easier because it wasn't enough for Donald. Seriously, it's so deeply humiliating to declare himself king because it's never enough. So his deputy chief of staff, Scott Taylor Buttigieg, followed up with this AI image of him decked out in full British coronation regalia. I'm not sure why Britain, but just in case we weren't getting the monarchy vibes clearly enough. So the real question here, does Donald actually think he's a king? Or is this just another sad, pathetic attempt to quote unquote own the libs, or probably even more importantly, just kind of soothe his damaged, tiny little weak ego? I'm going to go with the latter. But whatever the case, it has backfired spectacularly. Political commentator Brian Allen called it a full-blown power grab wrapped in authoritarian cosplay, warning that if Donald's actions aren't stopped by the courts, quote, "the rule of law will break," unquote. I heartily concur. Meanwhile, experts like John Orcutt pointed out that New York spent years negotiating congestion pricing with the federal government. And suddenly Donald thinks that he can just kill it with a single decree posted on its failing social media platform? I think not. I just want to remind you, this whole king speech came out the same day that Donald called our erstwhile ally, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, a dictator. He knows whereof he speaks. As you can imagine, the backlash has been swift and brutal, as it should be. Before we dive in to that, please make sure to like and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And after you have, hit the bell so that you will be alerted every time new videos drop. All right, let's get back to that backlash, which is one of my favorite things, backlash against Donald. So Governor Kathy Hochul of New York was having none of it. She slammed the decision saying, quote, "We are a nation of laws, not ruled by a king," unquote. She also confirmed that New York's Metropolitan Transit Authority is suing the federal government to reinstate the program. She also issued a warning to the Trump regime after being asked by a reporter if she plans to keep up the fight And if Donald has, as they say, poked the bear, check this out.
President Donald Trump tweeted, "Long live the king." I'm here to say New York hasn't labored under a king in over 250 years. We sure as hell are not going to start now. The streets of this city where battles were fought, we stood up to a king, and we won then. And in case you don't know, New Yorkers, when we're in a fight, we do not back down. Not now, not ever.
I think Governor Hochul is coming into her own, and it's very exciting. It's exciting for my city, but it's also exciting for the country because blue state governors are going to lead the way. Meanwhile, New York City Council member Justin Brannan and Representative Don Baer, who's a Democrat from Virginia, and DNC Vice Chair David Hogg called out the White House for blatant executive overreach. Yeah. But Hochul was not the only Democrat governor up for the fight. Here is J.B. Pritzker at his State of the State address yesterday. Play this clip.
My oath is to the Constitution of our state and of our country. We don't have kings in America, and I don't intend to bend the knee to one.
Yes. Isn't it awesome to have politicians who actually understand this shit and respect it? Makes me happy. So J.B. Pritzker, again, governor of Illinois, took things further, warning that Donald's America is on a dangerous path reminiscent of 1930s Germany. Let's be very real about this. Governor Pritzker is not wrong. That is exactly where we're heading. He warned that Donald's war on immigrants, LGBTQ plus people, and marginalized communities is following a terrifying historical pattern. Yeah, that's what happens when you put people like him into power who know nothing and care nothing about history. And Pritzker accused the Trump regime of gutting school funding, healthcare, veteran services, all while pretending it's just for the sake of efficiency, which, as you and I know, is complete and utter bullshit. Of course, Republicans are losing it. House GOP leader Tony McCombie called Pritzker's speech a flamethrower. Yeah, it was. Accurate description. Well done. And he stormed out with his Republican colleagues. You know, they're so thin-skinned. Isn't it cute? Anyway, why? Why are they so upset? I mean, yes, the truth hurts, I suppose. And they just do not like it when sane people point out that they're fascists. It is not just governors who are speaking out. Of course, on February 18th, former Viking punter Chris Kluwe was arrested in Huntington Beach, California, after protesting a MAGA-themed plaque that had been placed in front of the city's libraries. He was at a city council meeting exercising his First Amendment right. I think there's still a First Amendment anyway. Kluwe called out MAGA as explicitly anti-democratic and engaged in a peaceful civil disobedience. So, naturally, they had him arrested on the spot, of course. Take a look.
Kluwe has made political headlines before advocating for same-sex marriage, LGBTQ rights, and Colin Kaepernick. But this is the first time his advocacy has put him behind bars.
I will now engage in the time-honored American tradition of peaceful civil disobedience.
Get the heck. Get out.
That is former NFL punter Chris Kluwe being arrested at Tuesday night's Huntington Beach City Council meeting over the city's decision to place a MAGA plaque at the city's public library.
We want to honor the library. We want there to be a plaque, but we don't want MAGA on that because the library isn't supposed to be political.
The all-Republican council voted 7-0 to approve the plaque, which features the words magical, alluring, galvanizing, and adventurous on it, a clear nod to the Make America Great Again Trump movement.
MAGA is profoundly corrupt, unmistakably anti-democracy, and most importantly, MAGA is explicitly a Nazi movement. You may have replaced a swastika with a red hat, but that is what it is.
Hooray! Truth to power. He's absolutely right. Also, thank you to those police officers who reacted so egregiously, I should say overreacted, because that's going to get attention. It's pathetic. It's desperate. And I'm pretty sure Americans, or at least a lot of us, are not going to stand for it anymore. Despite public outrage, the plaque was still approved unanimously, because of course it was. Councilwoman Gracie Vandermark dismissed Kluwe's actions as 5 minutes of fame. Jesus Christ. He was like a very famous punter for one of your football teams. I don't know which one because I don't know. 5 minutes of fame? Seriously? I'm pretty sure that guy did not need 5 minutes of more fame. Good try though. Kluwe later said, quote, "This is important enough to get arrested for," unquote. It is. And I hope we see more of this. Peaceful disobedience. We need people getting arrested at protests for making it clear that we will not put up with America being turned into a fascist regime to the extent that it hasn't been already. I'm telling you, it will be worth it. You will feel good about yourselves, and it will be a great story. But seriously, that is going to be the level of civic engagement required. All right. Americans are not the only ones taking notice of Donald's monarchical ambitions. Let's face it, dictator for a day, he meant forever. I have to confess that he did throw us a curveball because apparently the dictator is Elon Musk, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. But whether it's Donald or Musk, maybe Donald will be king and Musk will be dictator. I don't know. The rest of the world is paying attention and they are preparing. On February 19th, 2025, NATO launched its largest combat drills of the year called Steadfast Dart 2025, involving 10,000 troops from 9 nations conducting exercises in Romania, Bulgaria, and Greece. Why? Well, because not only is Donald calling himself a king, he's outwardly bending the knee to Vladimir Putin in quote unquote peace negotiations, which is not at all what they were. And we've been covering that at length this week. So check out our other videos. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has demanded that NATO allies increase spending. And he hinted that Europe should, quote, lead from the front, unquote, which is diplomatic code for we're out, we're abandoning you because we suck. Romanian defense analyst Radu Tudor called this a gift to Putin, which it absolutely is. Should we be surprised? No. Donald Trump has been doing Vladimir Putin's bidding for decades now. And you know what kills me? It has always been obvious. This is a person who, even before he took power, was a puppet to the Putin regime. He was an asset. He was somebody who Putin knew would do whatever he could to advance Putin and Russia's interests over American interests, which is why Russia pulled out all of the stops to get Donald Trump elected fraudulently, in my view, in 2016. All right, so how do we think this is all going to play out for Donald? Good question. Here's the best part. Well, yeah, it's good because we know about him in numbers, right? His entire existence is based on number high, good, number low, bad. Like he's that stupid. So, and simple as well. So his approval ratings are crashing. On February 20th, 2025, a CNN SSRS poll found 52% of Americans believe Donald has overstepped his presidential powers. 53% disapprove of his attempt to shut down federal agencies. 54% disapprove of giving Elon Musk control over Doge. 51% think he's cutting too many government programs. His approval among young voters, Hispanic voters, and Black voters is nosediving. Even his base is starting to question his grip on power, which must make them very nervous. So let's recap here. Donald thinks he's a king. NATO thinks he's a joke. And his approval ratings, which literally mean more to him than anything except the number of zeros behind his net worth and the stock market. Sorry, I almost forgot because we haven't even been talking about the stock market since the election. One, because there's way too much other stuff going on, but because it's almost irrelevant now because he's just been manipulating the stock market by announcing things and then unannouncing them. He's basically been day trading with our money. So those three metrics, approval ratings, bank account, and the stock market, all of this sounds like a recipe for disaster for a guy with the kind of very serious personality disorders he has, and of course, the complete lack of tools with which to manage them. But we don't need polls to inform us about what we already know. Here's how citizens are rising up.
Now, those who brave the frigid temperatures here in New York City wanted to highlight a long list of what many call anti-democratic and illegal actions of the Trump administration. Several hundred people first met up again in Union Square at about 1 this afternoon. Very vocal yet peaceful. The NYPD monitored things, and at last check, there were no problems. The large crowd then headed south on Fifth Avenue, ending up in Washington Square Park. These mass gatherings in cities all across the nation come on the heels of President Trump signing a series of executive orders, which critics are confident will ultimately be struck down in court. They also take great issue with the role billionaire Elon Musk is playing so far in guiding and advising this administration.
That's my city. Yes, we need more of that everywhere. It's got to get bigger. We need more people out in the streets protesting. And listen, I'm going to leave you with this. Remember this. It's very, very important. Mockery is a superpower. All right, let's go do this thing. Thanks. Please take a second and like and share this video. It'd be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.